To rise, but will those rain chances be rising? We'll talk about it coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, we'll see you shortly. Thank you, Dennis. Now to new developments in a story we first brought to you back in August. You may remember this video here showing someone dumping a dog on a Tampa road. That was a, all right, deputies say Christian Noda, excuse me. This is a story about an Uber driver who robbed a woman here. He's from Orlando. He picked up a 74-year-old woman from the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. Investigators say he arranged for a masked man to meet them and then drove the victim around for an hour, making her withdraw money from ATMs. Deputies say Noda admitted that he planned that robbery, and they're now looking for his accomplice. New numbers tonight say Lakeland is among the 100 cities with the highest risk of home fires, just like this one. The Hartford Insurance Company just ranking the city 27th highest on its fire index. And because of that, the company brings its junior fire marshal program to Lakeland. It's also donating $20,000 to Lakeland schools and the fire department for fire safety education.
The opioid crisis mounting around the country, and tonight local drug recovery centers are waiting to see if President Trump's national health emergency declaration will free up any added resources. Prodigal Daughters Recovery in Sarasota say they are at capacity and they just cannot take any more women unless they get more funding for a larger site. Right now, all of their money comes from private groups, and they say their need for funding is now greater than ever.
We need funds. My husband and I are, his retirement is paying for this. You know, we've made a commitment because we know that this transforms lives.
Sarasota and Manatee counties were dubbed the opioid overdose epicenter of Florida just last year. That area is getting some state funding to help with addiction prevention. It was one of the Bay Area's most gruesome murders. 4 people killed in a Hudson home back in 2014, their bodies left in a field. And today, testimony begins in the trial of the man accused of killing them all. His name, Adam Matos. ABC Action News reporter Eric Waxler is live with an earlier attack prosecutors say shows Matos was capable of murder. Eric?
Yeah, that's right. Adam Matos is accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Megan Brown, along with her parents and her new boyfriend. Today in court, we heard Megan's call for help that happened the morning of the murders.
And my son said, put a knife to my throat, and cut my hand, one leg bleeding everywhere.
That's Megan Brown frantically calling 911. She told a dispatcher Adam Matos had just held a knife to her throat and threatened to kill her. Their 4-year-old son was home too.
My son's freaking out. I really don't want to do this in front of him.
Matos eventually left on a bike and was gone by the time deputies got there. These pictures show Megan that morning with a wound on her thumb and the knife she says Matos used. The former deputy who responded that day in 2014 testified he drove around the neighborhood looking for Matos but couldn't find him. He says he told Brown to call if he ever came back. Prosecutors say Matos did come back that night and killed Megan, her new boyfriend, Nicholas Leonard, and Megan's parents, Jim and Margaret Brown.
I'll do the best I can. I knew this would be hard. I'm sorry.
Margaret's stepmother is the one who eventually called the sheriff's office asking them to check on the family.
I had a wonderful relationship, a very loving person, and very funny.
Prosecutors say all the evidence points to Matos. They say he even lived in the home with his son for days after the murders, and neighbors saw him there, even smelling something foul. Witnesses also say Matos sold puppies from Margaret Brown's dog breeding business on Craigslist and used her credit card to buy a shovel and a PlayStation. Meanwhile, the only time we've heard from Matos was a jailhouse interview with the Tampa Bay Times shortly after his arrest.
I could say I'm innocent, and I could say I didn't do it, but is anybody really going to believe me?
A family member tells me that Megan's son, who was just 4 years old when all of this happened, is now 8 and living with family out of state. He's doing amazingly well, but I am told that he knows everything that happened to his mother. Live in Newport Richey, Eric Waxler, ABC Action News.
Eric, thank you. New information tonight surrounding the tragic death of a 3-year-old boy. Orlando police just releasing new video demonstrating how Miles Hill tried to escape a locked daycare van back in August. Detectives say getting out would have been nearly impossible for that little boy.
It's very hard and difficult to push up. It's recessed in.
Pictures from inside that van show one of the doors didn't work. You can see the handle was torn off there. The detective says there was no way that 3-year-old could have gotten out on his own. Hill was in there for hours while the temperatures in that van reached more than 100 degrees. Going in depth tonight so far, 41 children have died in hot cars around the U.S. this year. That's already 2 more than all of 2016 and 16 more than the year before that. Since 1998, we've averaged 37 hot car deaths a year. That's 1 every 9 days.
The first meeting about the future of the Land O' Lake sinkhole site is happening tomorrow. Officials want residents in the area to weigh in on what to do with that land. The county is now inviting all Lake Padgett Estates residents to come to the Land O' Lakes Community Center tomorrow at 3 o'clock. They want some feedback on 2 options. The first, to build a bridge over the sinkhole connecting to a nearby lake. Option number 2, leave it just as is, but put up a fence. There's also another meeting next Wednesday. Well, lock your doors. Pasco County deputies just releasing these pictures showing 3 men breaking into 6 unlocked vehicles. Take a look. This happening early Wednesday morning on Audubon Trail. That's in Lutz, and that's in the Willow Bend subdivision there. Deputies say surveillance cameras caught all 3 guys walking around homes carrying flashlights. You can see them highlighted right there. A car was also following them. If you know anything about this case, you're asked to call the Pasco County Sheriff's Office.
Still to come, a starring role, but you probably don't even know their name. New at 6, the dare that started a Bay Area company's meteoric rise in the theater world.
And a new ray of hope. Tonight, the experimental trial bringing new promise for people fighting cancers where chemo and radiation have failed. Dennis?
Yeah, Wendy, looking out from Rivergate, skies are mostly clear, but boy, temperatures have climbed like crazy over the last couple of days. We'll let you know if that eventually means those rain chances will be pumped up. Let's talk about it in just a couple of minutes.
A Lakeland woman facing a very bizarre set of charges tonight. Deputies charging her with DUI and animal neglect after they say she was riding her horse while drunk in Lakeland. Deputies catching this Polk City woman, Donna Burns, swaying in and out of traffic on South Comby Road. They say she rode that horse 15 to 20 miles from Polk City to Lakeland.
Our lady here had about double the legal limit. She was obviously intoxicated. The horse was perfectly sober, and he wasn't real excited about being driven to town by a drunk, I don't guess.
Her blood alcohol level came in at 0.157. That's almost twice the legal limit. Deputies took Burns to jail, her horse, Bo Dukes, to animal control. That horse, by the way, is doing just fine tonight. The future of a Confederate statue in Lakeland getting murkier tonight. The Lakeland City Commission now canceling a public meeting about the future of that statue in Munn Park. Commissioners saying today they are worried about special interest groups overwhelming the event. The commission is now scheduled to decide the fate of the statue at their next meeting on December 4th. They will hear public comment at that time. Jameson?
Oldsmar isn't exactly Broadway or Tinseltown, but a small startup company in Oldsmar now finds itself as the place to turn for something you see in playhouses and on concert stages coast to coast. We at ABC Action News want to spotlight the hardworking people of Tampa Bay who are creating their own success. And it's all made in the Bay. You had no theater experience whatsoever.
Wait a minute.
No art experience whatsoever.
Look.
Skip Matthews, Act 1, used to be in risk management 6 years ago until he laid eyes on a theater backdrop not nearly as nice as this one in a play his son was performing in.
I walked into a show they were putting on, they had a backdrop hanging there, and I said, please tell me you didn't pay real good U.S. greenback for that.
His son dared him to do better.
So a little sarcasm and a dare, and the rest is history?
Little sarcasm, dare, lazy old man, wife wants me out of the house. They're the answers. And here we are.
Where Theater World Backdrops is now is in Oldsmar, where it started, and it's made a name for itself in the theater community nationwide. A go-to for the most colorful and intricate backdrops for some of the most recognized plays and musicals.
Phantom.
Phantom of the Opera.
Les Mis. Beauty and the Beast.
The list goes on and on, each backdrop designed here out of their Oldsmar warehouse, hand-painted, steamed, and then shipped out to everything from high school to regional and community theater.
Whether it's small town in South Dakota or New York City, we ship everywhere.
It's been a record year in rentals and sales. The music world is also taking notice. Their backdrops also appearing on the concert tour stages for Grammy-winning rock bands and hip-hop artists. Matthews says the secret is to keep it old school, opting for hand painting versus using digital printers. It spotlights the talent of our local artists, he says. and it's all made in the Bay.
A lot of people were surprised when where are you located, and they're expecting us to be in California, and we're like, no, we're in Tampa. Weather's just as good.
Yes, it is. And if you know a Bay Area company that would be perfect for our Made in the Bay segment, head to my Facebook page, Jameson WFTS, and let me know about it.